What up, YouTube? It's Chance. So, I'm here to explain my full story once and for all. For those of you that might not know why I get messed with and why some of you guys are getting called the names that you get called. So, I'm here to finally come out and expose the troll community for what they've done to me. And explain my story fully to show what these people do and how evil they are. Back in 2017, I became a target of isolation, victimization, and illegal entrapment. See, I used to do this podcast with a former friend of mine, Ian, who went by the music artist named Bradley. Back in 2017. And I'm sure he still does. I don't know. But me and him ran a podcast called the Chill with the Boys podcast, where we would all hang out, yada yada yada. We'd have friends, other music artists on that we either worked with or enjoyed or listened to, whatever. Well, and there was a day where he had to work, and I took over the podcast. And then there was this dude named Music Biz Marty that kept on popping up in the chat. Like, he kept on just talking shit. Typical hater bullshit. Didn't think anything of it. You know, I just kind of ignored it. And then a couple more people came in saying, yo, this ain't the real Music Biz Marty. This dude's a fake, yada yada yada. And that grabbed my attention. So I was like, yo, let me go back and check out this Music Biz Marty dude and see what's up. I initially tried to find the real Music Biz Marty with no luck. I tried to find him to reach out to him and be like, yo, there's this dude pretending to be you. You know, you might want to say something or do something. You know, because I know if it was me, I wouldn't want anybody taking my content and pretending to be me. That's just weird and not cool. So I looked and looked and looked and couldn't find this guy for like almost a week straight. And then I finally found this channel after digging and digging and digging and digging. So I hit him up. I was like, yo, dude, there's this guy pretending to be you. And this is back when YouTube had the whole messaging thing, and you could, message, people and whatnot, like not by comment or email, but like the actual thing like you would do on Facebook. So I hit dude up. I was like, yo, like there's this dude pretending to be you. And he said, okay, thanks, yada yada yada. Well, later on down the road, I actually found out that was actually really him. And I found this out like way many years down the road. So fast forward a few years of that dude making on and off accounts before I knew that it was, really him. This dude would make on and off accounts just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, that went on for about 2.5 years. And then in 2019, I actually ended up dating my now ex-fiancée, Heather. Well, there was this dude that kept running his mouth by the name of Juggalo John. And this dude had been harassing me for years on Facebook, on social media. The dude was just some weird random. And finally I broke down on a stream that me and Heather were on with our now friend, the real Miss Janie Nicole, who has unfortunately, since passed. Well, he kept on saying that he was down by the community center right here by my house. So I went down, like I was geared up. Like I had fucking hand wraps on. I was fully fucking prepared. Well, I sat there for about 5-10 minutes. Dude never showed. So, I hopped back in the car. and we go on our way to the house. Well, me and Heather get back to the house, and me and her hop back on the live stream with Jamie and the others that she was hanging out with. Well, a student named Music Biz Marty hopped back on, and by that time I had completely forgotten about Music Biz Marty by this point. You know, I had completely forgotten about him, didn't think anything of it. And then that's when Heather brought up, she was like, hey, isn't that the dude that you had mentioned that was trolling you a couple years ago? And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's the same dude. The hell? Well, he hops on panel, we start talking back and forth, and we end up getting into this whole banter thing, and then he kind of settled down after about a half hour. Well, this dude ended up making a fucking pass at me. And I didn't catch it because I was too busy talking to Jamie about, you know, projects I was working on at the time, music shit I was working on. And I didn't catch it. So Heather was like, yo, Marty just made a pass at you. What the fuck? And I was like, wait, what? And so I hop off stream with her. And I go to check out the video footage, and lo and behold, he did. So me and her end up hopping back on after a few minutes, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is creepy, but, you know, I'll let dude down gently, you know, I'll let him down gently. And I did. I told him, I was like, hey, look, I seen that you made a pass at me or whatever, and I'm flattered, but I don't run that way. I'm not gay. Sorry. Well, needless to say, he didn't take it too well after that. Like, he didn't show it on the stream, but he was upset. And so, you know, me and her went our separate ways. And then later that same year in 2019, like mid 2019 around July, lo and behold, here comes Marty again. And me and him really get into it this time around. Like, we started going back and forth, on and off videos, the whole 9 yards. Well, little did I know that he would do something very, very, very diabolical. And bear in mind, this is where my disability for reading things wrong comes into play, because I do actually have a disability where I tend to read things wrong the first time around. Sometimes, not all the time, but in this instance, it really was kicking in that day fully. I don't know what it was, but it was hitting me hard that day, like, with everything. Like, I was misreading messages from friends on Facebook. I was misreading shit on Google that I was looking up for a friend of mine for an anime series that they wanted to get into, you name it. Like, it was acting up real bad that day. Well, there was a chick that hit me up, and me and her got to talking because she said she was a fan of my work, and I was like, bet, that's dope. You know, I appreciate that. And she had said that she liked me. I asked how old she was later on in the, you know, in the chat. A lot of fucked up shit went down, but I asked her how old she was, and I thought she had said she was 18. I did. I genuinely thought she had said that she was 18. Well, she tricked me into sending certain photos, which I'll let your mind wander on that one. And I'm pretty sure you can guess, though. But I'll just let your mind wander. Well, as soon as she tricked me into sending those photos, she sent one back. of who she claimed was her. After, I sent one back, because she had asked for it. So, I obliged, and then she had sent one back. Well, as soon as she sent her photo back, she claimed to be. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what? Like, I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute. You just said that you were 18. What the fuck? Well, needless to say, because of that, police got called out here. They talked to me, the whole 9 yards. Basically said, oh, hey, you gotta be more careful who you talk to, yada, yada, yada. They gave me the whole rundown, which I understood. But here's where it gets really fucked up. That photo that she sent, I would later find out, last year actually, that photo that she sent was of her fucking daughter. Her fucking daughter. And as a result of that whole situation, those screenshots have been edited so many times by so many people that nobody really knows what's real and what's not, which I can understand. I can understand that. But I've had shit stolen from me, obviously. My reputation almost completely ruined. And I've confronted both Marty and the person that did the sting on me, which was Mass Troll Mafia, who I would later find out, who that was. Well, when I confronted both of them, they kept on giving me bullshit answers like, oh, because you gave off vibes, or, oh, because I can, and because you're delusional, and I want you, which is what Marty would say as far as the delusional and wanting me shit. And because I turned him down. But because of that whole thing, my life's been flipped upside down in more ways than I can count. Like, my whole life has been a fucking train wreck. Because of these people. And then back in 2023, Tibbs TV would do something that was very fucked up. Now, I know it might not look it on the outside looking in, but back before all this shit started, me and my dad, we didn't necessarily get along that well, but we still had a good relationship. Well, Tibbs TV ended up using that to blackmail me. He tried to do another sting through a guy named Wings 007. And when Wings tried to do the same thing, only he straight up pretended like he straight up was years old. And because I had gotten tipped off by a couple friends of mine about this whole thing, I was like, yo, dude, I already knew. Like, I was like, yo, I know you're not. And I said these exact words. I know you're not. I know who you are, Wings 007. Why are you doing this? What are you trying to gain from this? I know you're a grown adult. What's going on? Why are you trying to set up a sting operation? Well, he wouldn't give me a clear answer. He flat out ran away and blocked me. And mind you, this was on fucking Instagram at the time. And he flat out blocked me and was like, after he knew that I had found him out, he straight out blocked me. Because he knew that I knew what was going on. And so I brought this to Tibbs' attention. Not as a friend, but to confront him and be like, yo, why the fuck did you do this? Well, he sat there and decided to use it to his advantage. He decided to blackmail me. Because he knew that me and my dad were not on good terms at the moment, because my dad had just been on Music Biz Marty's panel and ended up disowning me. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was confused. And me still caring about my dad like I did at that time, I don't care about him anymore. But at the time, I still cared. You know, to me, he was still my dad. Well, needless to say, Tibbs used that to his advantage and was like, look, I'm going to give you two choices. You can either admit to, or option B is I can help your dad and his wife sue you for defamation of character and slander. And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, what are you talking about? What do you mean defamation of character or slander? And he was all like, he went on this whole tirade of, oh, well, what you said was, you know, slander and defamation of character because they're saying this and they're saying that. And I kept telling him, bro, it's not defamation of character or slander. It's fucking true. And me and him got into it for about an hour. Then we, you know, parted ways. And then, you know, he hit me up and was like, look, like, why don't you just come on panel and talk? You know, and we'll hash it out. Well, little did I know that was a fucking trick. He still persisted with the same thing. And by this time, I was just like, look, like, I don't want to go to court over my dad. I don't want to go to court with him. I love my dad. I still cared about him at that time. Didn't want to go to court to fight him. Because not only would that be not fair to him, it wouldn't be fair to me or my family. Because he was mad about me telling the truth about what he actually did when I was in Florida. And, you know, how he got me drunk when I'd never drank in my life. You know, how he got me drunk without my knowledge or my consent. And how I had an infection in my leg so bad that he refused to take me to the hospital. And so I had to wait till I got back here after getting thrown out, after me and my wife got into it for no reason. And, you know, I got thrown out, I got brought back here, had to go to the hospital, get out my leg lanced, yada yada yada. Needless to say, I was not feeling good for almost a month. It sucked. And I told, you know, Tibbs this, I was like, look, everything I had said was true. Well, he still didn't believe me. So he was like, look, here's what you are going to do. You are going to either admit to being, or I'm going to help your dad and his wife sue you, and you will not be able to get out of this. I will help them, and they will win, and you will be charged and arrested. And by this point, I was so scared because I didn't know that the dude didn't have money. I didn't know that. I was scared. I didn't know. And I figured that, you know, if I just gave him what he wanted, that he would leave me alone. And so I gave him what he wanted. Not because I wanted to, but because I was made to. And that's why people keep on saying, like, oh, he's a self-admitted. I'm not. I was forced into that. I was literally blackmailed into that shit. And like I've always said, and I've stood my ground on this too, the only reason why I gave in to Tibbs and him doing that is because I didn't know. I had no idea that he did not have that kind of power. But I didn't know. I was scared. But ever since then, you know, there's been screenshots that have been, you know, tampered with. There's been fake screenshots made up of people saying that I talk to when I don't. And what's so screwed up is that anybody that tries to help me, these trolls go after. Like, prime example, one of my really good friends recently tried to send me a brand new PC 2 different times. And William Gloryhole and N-Word Boy stole them. And flat out told me and everybody on social media that I am not allowed to have a computer and I am not allowed to have an Xbox ever. And that anything that I get, they will steal. They have done that. And more recently, somebody else who I later found out would be a troll tried to send me a brand new Xbox. And William ended up rerouting it to his address like always. Well, to go back a little bit, I know what a lot of y'all are thinking, like, why didn't you reach out for help? I did. My family tried. About 2.5 years ago, my family tried to reach out to local law enforcement over 113 times. The first time was because I had been shot at through my bedroom window during a live stream and the bullet went into my mattress. And we called it in and they came out and flat out said they weren't going to do anything, which I found very weird. I was like, what the fuck? You know, why aren't you going to cut the mattress open and take the bullet out? It just happened. The bullet's fresh. You know, why not take it out and do something about it? You know, take it out, take it down to the lab, see who fired it. You know, do what you can do. Well, they didn't do it. And, you know, more and more incidences kept on happening over and over and over and over and over again. And my family kept on making reports of it like we were told. And at one point, the police got sent out here in force over a fucking lie. William Gloryhole had called the police and told them and said that I was harboring a 4-year-old in my house when I wasn't. And about 6 different squad cars showed up in full TAC gear. We're talking bulletproof vests. We're talking, you know, rifles, shotguns, whole 9 yards, ready to go, pointed right at me. Because William had said that I was harboring if any police were to show up that I was going to shoot them as well, which I never said that. And that moment right there was one of the scariest moments of my whole life. Because I knew that at any moment, that trigger could get pulled. And I could be shot and killed for just reaching into my hoodie pocket. And needless to say, they left, didn't find anything. And I'm not gonna lie, like, that moment was one of the scariest moments of my life. These people have destroyed 2 of my computers and 2 of my Xboxes and have gotten away with it. These people have caused my family distress. These people have done all kinds of stuff to make my life a living hell. And needless to say, the whole allegations thing, that's where they get a lot of this from. And it's fucking disgusting. And every time I confront Music Biz Marty, or did confront him, every time I'd ask him, why did you target me in the first place? His exact response: because I'm delusional. And that I suck at music. And that I don't deserve to be in music. Then when I confront Kate, aka Mastral Mafia, who's the one that did the sting on me in the very beginning, every time I confront her, she always comes up with some sort of stupid fucking answer. Like, why did you, I would ask her, like, dude, why the fuck did you do that shit? One time it's, Marty paid me to, or, because you gave me vibes, because I could, because I was bored, or because I thought it'd be funny, because you look weird. And I'm sitting there thinking, dude, what's... But the thing that gets me on about this whole thing, nobody's willing to hold Marty or Mastral Mafia accountable for what they did. Like, why is that? Like, why is that? Dude, like, why is it that no one holds them responsible? That's what I want to know. And second off, for the people that keep on saying that I talked to... Once again, where's the fucking proof? Where's the actual real-ass screenshots? Because y'all are always saying, we have screenshots, and they're current. Where are they at then? Where are the motherfucking screenshots at, man? Because I don't see shit at all, ever. I don't see any of you dumbass motherfuckers sending any screenshots or posting anything that is current. Everything that you guys have said is current isn't current. And they are not. They are fucking grown-ass adults that you people are claiming are when they're not. They're fully grown adults. Y'all are just trying to throw around the word just to get me canceled because I refuse to dance for you. And that's another thing that Marty has done too, is blackmail me. Saying that, if you don't dance for me, like literally dance. Because back in high school I did dance, and then I ended up making a channel on here, based around it. Because I used to enjoy it, but now I don't because of Marty. And what I'm about to explain to you is why I no longer enjoy it. Marty would sit there and blackmail me and say, hey, if you don't dance for me, then I'm going to be forced to do this. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? That's bullshit. And you can literally go on live streams, like you can go on previous live streams where me and him have been on panel, and I've confronted him about this many, many, many times. Which, honestly, that's where a lot of the Rage Out videos came from. Was from me trying to fucking get him to shut his goddamn mouth and to leave me alone. because I did not want to dance for him. I wanted to do my own thing and be left alone. But nope. My life gets ruined. I get told by William that I'm not allowed to have I'm not allowed to be on any other websites than YouTube, and I'm not allowed to make money, and I'm not allowed to have an Xbox as long as he's alive, and I'm not allowed to have a PC as long as he's alive. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's not cool, because first off, William, you're not my mama, you're not my daddy, you sure as fuck ain't God. So you really don't have that right to say that. So, what the fuck, dude? But these are the kinds of things that these people do, and I found out recently the whole real reason why Marty started all this, because he let it slip up. And so did Mass Troll Mafia. They both let it slip up in a private Discord server that a good friend of mine was in before they kicked them out and turned invites off. Well, I found out the whole reason why they did all that was because I look weird. Because I look different. And they thought that I would be an easy money grab. And that's what all these trolls are trying to do now, is make money off of me. Ruin my life. I'm losing out on thousands of dollars a year, a month, a week, because of these people. I used to have a Twitch account where I was making really good money. I was making over $150 a day. Doing very well for myself, actually. Doing very well. I had just hit partner with Twitch a week prior to the incident. I had some very good, really good minor sponsors that I had a lot of fun collabing with. And needless to say, my Twitch got shut down and I lost everything. Because Marty and William and N-Word Boy and all them decided to lie to Twitch and say that I was doing stuff outside of Twitch that I was not doing. I lost my job, my partnership with Twitch. I lost all my sponsors. Like, I lost everything. And these people will not let me make any money. They don't care what it is. These people are trying to make it to where I am homeless when my mom passes away. Because they think that it's funny. They think that it's cute. And it's not. I'm just a regular guy out here trying to make an honest living. That's all. So why should I have to suffer for my mistakes when nobody is holding Music Biz Marty, Mass Troll Mafia, or any of these people responsible for what they've done to me? But yet people expect me to take responsibility, but yet no one wants to make them take accountability for their actions. Where is that okay? And this is where another YouTuber that I watch, spoke out on this subject, and they were right. The word is thrown around way too loosely. And it's people like Mass Troll Mafia and Music Biz Marty, they're the ones that truly don't deserve a fucking platform. They throw around that term so loosely and so just like it doesn't even mean anything. And it ends up ruining lives. It really and truly ends up ruining lives. It almost ruined mine fully. to where I'm still fighting to recover. I'm still fighting to try to, get to where I want to be because of these people. And it's sickening. I have to live my life every day depressed. Even though I might not show it, I have to live my life every day depressed. Dealing with PTSD because of the hell that I went through with these people over the last 8 years. The anxiety attacks, the panic attacks. Those are things that I deal with every day. And it's fucked up. All I'm trying to do is get back to being who I was. Not who the internet has made me out to be. The internet has painted me in such a bad light that I don't know if I ever will be able to recover. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think I can, but I don't know. I really don't know. Because these people have amassed a group of thousands of people just to try to cancel me. There are groups on YouTube with over 1,000 people dedicated to canceling me. Or trying to cancel me. There's God knows how many pages on Reddit about me. About what the trolls want to do to me. And this and that and the other. Everybody contradicts everything I say when I'm telling the absolute 1000% truth. My life has not been easy. My life has been a total fucking wreck. I've lost friends because of these people. I've lost family members. One of my closest friends and best friends of 17 plus years, Jake, walked away because of these people. My own dad abandoned me, disowned me. My own older sister, Daylin, disowned me. And all because these people want to run around and spread lies and misinformation. Also, they can get clicks and views. And quite frankly, it's fucking disgusting. And what I want to know is, why is nobody holding these other people accountable for their actions? Because there was a point where I got Music Biz Marty to openly admit that he set me up. And that he paid Mastro Mafia to do what she did. Also, he could isolate me because I turned him down. But yet, I don't see anybody holding Marty, Mastro Mafia, William Glory Hole, or any of them responsible. But yeah, I'm supposed to take responsibility for my actions, right? And that's what I don't understand. Like, why is everybody telling me to take accountability for my actions when they're not making Marty or any of them accountable for their actions? And that's where I'm confused. Why is it that nobody is holding them accountable for what they did? It doesn't make sense to me. Alright, what happened to accountability? What happened to taking responsibility for your own actions? What happened to holding people accountable to the wrongdoings that they do? Alright, it's funny. People want to sit there and hold me accountable for my supposed wrongdoings, but yet everybody seems to mysteriously refuse to hold Mastro Mafia, Music Biz Marty, N-Word Boy, or William Glory Hole, or anybody that has had a hand in ruining my life accountable for their actions. Why is that? I mean, come on. When it comes to Mastro Mafia, we're talking about somebody, that Turtle Boy. And if y'all don't know who Turtle Boy is, look him up. This motherfucker sat there and made Mastro Mafia look like a joke. Because she kept on saying that she has goons, and every time he would confront her, she ran away. This is the same that tried to hit on my stepdad while me and my mom were present in the fucking room, listening in. Which I'm pretty sure she was streaming at the time too. This is the set when I went to try to get therapy online because my family couldn't afford regular therapy at the time. So I found one. Or I'd say my now ex-girlfriend found one. And I started to go to therapy. Started to do very, very good for myself. I had documented the whole thing and everything to show like, hey, I'm actually going to therapy. I'm trying to do better. That ended up breaking into one of the private sessions and tried to ruin things for me, when I was simply there to get help and do better. But yet, no one wanted that for me. Like, none of you guys wanted that for me. And to Kate, I ask you this. Why is it that, and don't give me that bullshit excuse because I get vibes. I want the real, unfiltered, unbridled truth from you on this. I want the very real reason why, not the whole lame ass excuse you always give. I want the real reason as to why you felt like you had to do what you did to me. Was it because Marty had paid you off? Or was it something much more sinister? Why is it that you agreed with Marty to set me up? To make me look like... Why was that? Why was it that you did that? It don't make sense. Because one, you never did your research on me. And two, you did it in the complete wrong way. Completely wrong, completely botched, completely stupid. But yet you still claim that I... And let me ask you this, Kate Peters. Who's the here? Me? I used her fucking daughter in a photo. Think about that. Who's the real bad guy? Me, the person that you targeted and isolated and slandered and made a... Or that used her own fucking daughter for monetary gain by doing what you did to me with her photo. If you ask me, I'd say the answer's pretty damn clear. So Kate Peters and fuck everybody out there that believes the bullshit lies about me on the internet. Because those lies are just that. They are lies. They are rumors. They are not fact. They are not in any way, shape, or form connected to me. I know who I am as a person. My friends and family know who I am as a person. The real supporters know who I am as a person, and that's all that matters. As for everybody else, take a hike. Or, in my favorite term, sit and rotate, motherfuckers.